Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry I've taken forever to upload another video. I've just been super busy and stuff and just haven't done it. And I know you're probably wanting a stats video, and I promise that is the next video I am making. I just downloaded all my transcripts and I just got my AP scores from this year, so I wanted to wait till I got my senior year AP scores so I could include those in the video. So now I have those and I can go ahead and start making that. But first I realized I should probably tell you where I'm going to college. And the reason why I'm making this a whole video is because I felt like I should probably explain my decision, since it's not going to be the school that anyone is guessing it is. And I just wanted to explain that the main factors that I was looking for in a college, well, cost was number one. I knew I could not pay full price for any of these colleges, so if a college had merit scholarships, then that was like something I looked for, and if I got one, then that made it, up closer to the top of my choices. But you might have noticed I did apply to a lot of schools that don't offer merit scholarships, and that's because I applied to a ton of schools. I applied to a ton of outside scholarships in hopes that maybe one of them would work out, because several of them were full tuition scholarships, hoping that one of my outside scholarships might pan out and those schools that don't offer merit scholarships would still be an option for me. But they didn't work out, so just a heads up about that. If you're thinking of any of those schools that don't offer merit scholarships right now, probably am not going there. So just a little quick reminder of the schools I applied to. I'm gonna go look at a list over here because I don't have it memorized. It was 16 colleges. If you didn't watch my last video, it was excessive. Don't do what I did, honestly. I feel like looking at this list, I don't know what I would have cut because I really liked all of these schools at the time and still kind of do. But I feel like this was really extra. I'm just indecisive. So I'm going to read the list of schools. I applied to Georgia Tech, UNC, UGA, Tulane, Georgetown, Northeastern, UMiami, UCLA, UCSD, USC, Duke, Duke Quinshon, NYU, WashU, UPenn, and Stanford. So that's all 16 colleges I applied to. So like I said, cost was the main factor, but also location. I kind of like schools that were more in the city in a city or near a major city, at least in the suburbs. I didn't really like schools that felt like they were in really isolated areas. And then I also, since I wanted to major in business, having a good business program was important to me. And something that I kind of realized as the process went on, after I'd already really applied to most of my schools, I started realizing I really wanted to go to a school where I could start in my business major right away. And a couple of these schools, that's not the case. You have to wait till like junior year to start in your major, which I didn't like quite as much. And then also, a few of these schools didn't actually have a business major. They only had an econ major. They didn't have like a separate business school, which at the time that I applied, I kind of didn't care that much because I still loved the schools. Okay, I'm just going to say, I'm specifically thinking of Duke right now. Like Duke, I loved the school when I was on the tour. I loved like everything about it, except for the fact that they just have an econ major and not a business major. Now, if what you want to do in business, is like kind of related to econ, or like you enjoy like all the microeconomic stuff, then like that's great. That still works for you. But for me, I'm not really interested in that side of business as much. So like I'm fine with taking a few econ courses, but I did not want to have that as a major. So that kind of put Duke out of that for me. Also, no money, so couldn't afford that. Other schools I kind of had to eliminate. Georgetown, I love Georgetown. Georgetown was great. I want to keep studying Chinese in college because I've been doing that since 7th grade. And Georgetown has like really good Chinese program. And they really like have a global emphasis. So I loved that, but could not afford it. Like I said, my outside scholarships didn't work out, not any of the 10 million I applied to. So that threw that one out of there for me. UCLA, UCSD, gone because of that. I'm trying to look at my list of schools and see how I eliminated things. But UNC couldn't start in my major until junior year, and you have to apply to the business school separately. If that's something that's going to bother you, then you might want to look at that for your colleges. I think it like isn't like hard to get into the business school later. It's just that you can't start in the business school until junior year unless you got their little like fancy expedited thingy that I did not get. Northeastern, I actually really liked Northeastern, and I was really disappointed that I also just couldn't spend enough money on that in the end. Even though I got like a scholarship there, it like wasn't going to be enough, especially compared to schools where I got a lot more money. Um, but I'm just going to go ahead and say like I'm like not going to go name every single one of my schools. If you want to comment a question you might have about why I eliminated a specific school, feel free to comment or DM me on Instagram, and I will, at Michaela Sherrill. I'll link it below if you want to like ask me a specific question, and I'll tell you why. But the main schools I ended up narrowing everything down to was Miami, Northeastern, Georgia Tech, UPenn, USC were my top 5. I already told you why I eliminated Northeastern. USC and UPenn would have been my next top 2. I loved both of these schools so much. I was so shocked, especially that I got into Penn. Still surprised about USC because their admissions rate has been dropping a lot recently. But I was so devastated, like, not being able to afford going there. That was, like, the toughest thing for me to have to eliminate those. I did appeal for more aid at both of them. I got a little bit more aid at Penn, but it still wasn't enough. Nothing more. USC financial aid sucks for need-based. And I got, like, that small merit scholarship at USC, but, like, that still wasn't going to be enough for me. So I had to cut those 2, which pretty much just left Georgia Tech and Miami as my only 2 affordable schools out of all of these. I got full tuition to Miami, and if you're if you live in the state of Georgia, you can, and like you have like decent grades, you can go to any Georgia public school for free, basically. Other than you have to pay room and board, but like you don't have to pay tuition, which is great. It's funded by our lottery. But I had such a hard time making this decision. I know a lot of people would just be like, oh, Tech's like the higher ranked school, go to Tech. But I've lived in Atlanta my entire life. I've been to Tech a ton of times throughout my life. I've been to that area a lot throughout my life, even though I don't live like right near the campus. Like I live close enough where like I could drive there from my house like any day I wanted. And so I kind of wanted a new and different experience, but at the same time, I loved like a lot of the programs Tech had to offer. And I got that, like, if you watched my last video, I got like a business school dean scholarship there. And like that made it so much harder for me because it technically would have been my all-out cheapest option to go to Tech, because with that scholarship, I could have used it on room and board. So even my room and board would have been less. At Miami, I got a full tuition scholarship, but I still have to pay full price for room and board. So guys, I'm still stressed, like thinking about this decision because I am not confident I made the right one, because I'm super indecisive, super indecisive. I know I'm using my hands a lot because I do this when I'm stressed. But I committed to my college the literal night before May 1st. Is it like April 30th? 30 days, half September? Okay, yeah. April 30th, I committed. And I decided to go to University of Miami. Go Canes! It's super unenthusiastic because I still am not confident whether I made the right decision or not. I don't even know what else to say because I'm still stressed about it, but I'm excited. I'm really excited to go somewhere new. I've lived, like I said, I've lived in Atlanta my whole life. I just wanted a new experience, and I really like the people I met there through like all the faculty I met, the students I met, and a girl from my school who went there last year to Miami who got the same scholarship. I've been talking to her and like she's awesome. I love the things that she's been involved in there. So I feel like confident that I can still get a really good experience out of it. And we'll see. So once again, I'm sorry this is not a stats video. I'm going to upload a stats video soon. See you next time.